homeowners.
To the notice box, that's really loud music. I'm gonna turn it down right now. I just want a little theme song because I really like it. You guys didn't see this. Hold up. I gotta show you again. I think I did a pretty good job. And that's it. Stop. Bam. Okay, so back in my apartment because I don't have enough time to run all the way down to Williamsburg at WeWork. So I'm just gonna do a really quick live broadcast right here. First on the news. Okay, so we have Sanctuary, no surge. Sorcery. Let's just go with this right here. No, Sanctuary. Oh, by the way, shout out to this. We have 1,200 views or $1,200 left to go on Kickstarter. So we're doing a really good job. And shout outs to Alfred Austin. Awesome. Amazing shit. He just donated like last night. Thank you so much, man. You're amazing. You're amazing. I don't know why I'm doing it like that, but that's pretty dope. You are freaking dope, man. Let's go to the news. First off, Sanctuary. Here we go. That's okay. All right. This selfie stick. By the way, guys, I lost my first selfie stick, so this one's like all screwy on me. Yeah, you know that whole executive order that Trump actually had any quote-unquote sanctuary cities? Turns out that, yeah, Miami-Dade is the first county to kind of like give into that. Now, if you guys don't know, here's the backdrop on that whole issue. Sanctuary cities were basically cities that wouldn't report any type of detainment of so-called legal immigrants. And what Trump did was that he said that Homeland Security withhold. Let me try to get this thing right. It's just all over the place. Let me just kind of. Okay, let's just adjust it. Let's just try to adjust this terrible selfie stick. Oh my goodness, here it is. And there we go. Trump basically made it so that if you happen to not report every single immigrant that might have like a visa trouble or anything like that to Homeland Security, that they can withdraw funding. When it comes to funding from Homeland Security, it goes really into law enforcement, but also into infrastructure and everything else. Like when we think of how the government divides its funding, it's very screwy. I mean, you know, think about entitlement programs and everything else. We already have a program that actually allows a lot of states to take money from entitlements like food stamps and welfare and actually apply that to discounts on state colleges and universities. So a lot of you guys do receive entitlements and welfare, but you don't even know it. You should check out this amazing story that I believe Reveal podcast does a great story on that, on how it's just like, you know, we think that we're giving a lot to welfare, quote unquote, like welfare. No, we're not. We're basically taking a lot away from people who kind of deserve the most help out of it. But in terms of that, this is going to be, we're going to see if that's a trend. Miami-Dade County, their mayor already announced that they're going to give into the pressure of this new ordinance or this new executive order by Trump to kind of like, you know, rid sanctuary cities. And Miami-Dade didn't even like actually come forward as a sanctuary city. They just kind of folded anyway and said that they're going to be completely compliant. In terms of what that does for local politics and also to just the culture in general on how we treat immigration, it's going to be a little bit scary. It's putting the feet to the fire for a lot of people, and I'm kind of like personally a little bit worried about that and what that's gonna do for our immigrant population, and specifically Black and brown immigrants, because for some reason he's not targeting all immigrants. He's just targeting mostly Latin people and Muslims, which is, you know, it's weird. It's weird. So there's that. Keep an eye on that. Is no surge in Philly. Okay, there is no surge. All right, it's actually down from 280 murders to 277 murders. Now, if you guys want to know the context, let me tell you, Politico just reported this, you know, a few hours ago, but I'll give you the back scoop. Basically, Trump had in Philadelphia, in his speech, he was talking about how there's an uptick in murders. And you know, Philadelphia police came forward and were like, well, no, we did a really good job in keeping down the murder rate, so don't try to, you know, downplay it or whatever. And then, of course, the statisticians and elected officials came forward and put it forth the fact that it's down from 280 last year. It's 277 murders this year. So that's actually a decrease. It's not a huge surge in murder. But if you notice, when Trump talks about Chicago, which again does not have the highest murder per capita in the United States, it hasn't been that way in a long time. There was a little uptick in terms of the homicides last year, but it was still part of a lower downward curve. So one, it's not the murder capital of the United States anymore, so drop that. But two, if you're talking about anomalies, then you want to look at the 10-year slope of homicides decreasing. And it's the same for every major city in America. Violent crime is decreasing, and there's a lot of, you know, different reasons on why people would say that. But I don't want to get into it because it's a larger issue. But if you notice why he's doing that, let's be frank, he's kind of jumping on our stereotypes of predominantly black cities or predominantly like quote-unquote minority cities, right? So you look at New York, when he talks about New York, when he talks about, mostly when he talks about Chicago, and a lot of Republicans and conservatives use the idea of Chicago rather than the reality of Chicago. It's kind of like a lot of fear-mongering, saying like, well, if you think that strict gun laws are gonna help you, then look at Chicago. And do you really wanna be like liberal Democrats? Go look at Chicago. It's pretty much just saying like, you don't wanna be like these guys, but a lot of times it's not based on fact, it's just based on stereotypes. It's racist stereotypes, dog whistle politics. All right, so it was the same thing when he talked about Philly. If you notice any of these cities that he's talking about that had illegal voting, which again is now an issue because he wants a federal investigation, and the so-called widespread illegal voting, Washington Post actually published an article earlier today on that. And this is monumentally crazy because he's trying to force false information to be like put forward. And again, this is more or less a scare tactic. Do you know what I mean? It's not really, they're not going to find anything. There's not widespread voting. But if you keep putting that out there in the public sphere, people are going to believe it eventually. But also, more importantly, if someone feels like they might be falsely accused of illegal voting, then they're going to be less likely to vote. And this is another way to do voter suppression. This happened actually notably in 1981. Now, 1981, I believe it was in New Jersey. You guys can fact check me on that. The Republican Party, the GOP state party officials actually basically kind of sponsored these far right-wing poll watchers. And they're mostly around black and Jewish neighborhoods in New Jersey, right? Now, that was a way to intimidate people. They were saying they're making sure that they're not cheating. And how do they do that? By standing right outside the voting places or whatever, and pretty much just being intimidating neo-Nazis. I mean, that's just, you know, I would not want to walk inside a voting booth when there's neo-Nazis standing outside. That was 1981, and that's the reason why Republicans had that huge injunction against them. I think it was a 30-year injunction against them since 1981. So it was about to be lifted, and of course, you know, Trump or whatever started saying like, people are voting, they're trying to, you know, steal the votes or whatever, and then people started doing the whole poll watching again. I should follow up on that and see whether or not that lawsuit that they brought forward against that actually went through, but that's another story. So, 1, no surge. 2, sanctuary cities are being, they're like Trump said, true to form, he's attacking sanctuary cities. Let's, I'm gonna get this here. Let's go down to the next. Oh my God, that's gonna fall. It's gonna fall. Let's go down to Sorceryyyy. All right, listen. This is like crazy. I don't know if you guys have seen. Amazing. So scientists have now like discovered how to compress hydrogen into metals, into a metal. It's insane. It's 72 million pounds per square inch. So like the pressure they had 2 diamond tip pressure points, and they put a small amount of hydrogen in the middle, 72 million times 72 million pounds of pressure per square inch, and it formed into a shiny type of metal. When I went through the article, I couldn't find what type of metal it was, but you know, there's still studies coming out or whatever. But there's a Harvard study, and that, I just think it's hilarious. I think it's just pure sorcery. Like, I can turn the air into metal. Again, like, think about the possibility of what that can mean in terms of a lot of war-torn cities and environments where metals are pricey. If you can manufacture metal out of something that's widely available, out of an element that's widely available, that would mean honestly a little bit of a downtick in terms of the prices of metal, but also a huge benefit for humanity, because you'll be able to rebuild at a cheaper price, and it would be pretty good to have, you know, a little bit more infrastructure at a cheaper price, so you'll be able to provide for more people. So yes, keep an eye on that. Let's go ahead and talk about this small thing that floated under the. So Trump did a lot of different executive orders, but this one right here, I think, just really floated under the radar. No debt relief for mortgage guys. Now, about 700,000 are affected by this. Obama actually had an order that was going to cut the mortgage fees for basically people who had bad credit or were falling behind in payments. The mortgage fees would be reduced because it was, you know, something that would basically force about 30,000 people pricing them out, effectively pricing out 30,000 people from home ownership. In other words, they would lose their house. Like, you would lose your house if if you couldn't pay the fees. And so Obama issued an executive order and a plan that was going to reduce the fees, the mortgage fees for people who were late on their payments. Trump just randomly, without explanation, reversed that order. So now about 700,000 people are affected, but effectively it's going to price out 30,000 people from owning homes because of these fees. I mean, they're drastic. You can imagine if you have a $200,000 house, you know, on average it's about $500 more, and if you are already struggling or in debt or underwater, those extra fees are going to add up, and a lot of people are just kind of barely hanging by a thread, so that it's going to have an effect. But no one talked about it. It's just kind of strange. I was just going through a political article, an article on Politico, and you know, it was just there, and I was like, no one's gonna talk about it? It's all good. All right, so other thing, big thing here actually about TPP and NAFTA. Like, I feel like, you know, so this is it. I had my camera on when this happened or whatever, but I was in the dollar store the other day. No, just a small story. I was in the dollar store the other day, and I was talking to, oh man, I can't remember his name. I think it was like Seth or something like that. But the owner of the dollar store, we kind of like had a little talk about Trump. You know, he's an immigrant. He's from Pakistan. His biggest gripe was actually, it was about it was about the fact that Trump was going to try to end TPP and NAFTA, and what that really means in terms of small businesses. Now, a lot of people like to think like, oh, it's going to keep jobs here and we can get back to manufacturing. The world is far more complicated than that. Even if you want to get back to manufacturing, a lot of the parts that we use to manufacture these products in America come from other places. If we were to raise tariffs or not have these reduced tariff rates on these certain countries that are part of the TPP agreement or part of NAFTA, the price of those imports go up. That's why people really want it. Like, even though TPP is totally shady because we don't know what all goes into it, there's also the benefit of us getting cheaper imported goods. And I think this type of nationalism that Trump is trying to evoke is clouding people's judgments in terms of how globalized America is and how much benefit we have from working with the world. It also was a huge thing in terms of, and mind you, like, I'm a child of immigrants, so I don't really, you know what I mean? Like I'm sorry, like, my dad's an immigrant, my mom is like JPB, right? So I say this because I don't like side with the whole anti-immigration thing, but if you're going to make a case for that, then you want TPP and NAFTA, because that is really, studies have already shown, and of course the, I think, what was his name? Oh, the Mexican president was talking about that. It basically, it blossomed the Mexican middle class. It was monumental in creating wealth. Why? Because they were able to compete on a nearly level playing field in exporting their goods, and America was one of their #1 importers. We love Mexican goods, and what did that do? That helped their economy. And what does that do when you help another country's economy? People want to stay because they're not experiencing an economic downturn. So when you say you don't want TPP and NAFTA and all these other trade agreements, you're also saying, well, okay, fine, I guess I just want people to actually come to my country, which is basically you're directly causing it. You're directly causing more immigration. Me personally, I don't really mind, because I feel like this country was actually created, I know this country was created by immigrants. So it's a little bit silly for people to be anti-immigrant. However, if you want to make that argument, then you gotta actually be a little bit more globalized. You can't remain in a cocoon. This whole type of hyper-nationalism, it's not economically sound, it's not logical, and of course, it's straight up bigoted. So, yeah, TPP and NAFTA, we just withdrew from that, so expect a little bit more pricey things. For your everyday consumer, that cost of operations, having more pricey imports, that's gonna come down to you. That's gonna cost you a lot more money. And that's what I don't like, because I like going to the dollar store. I don't care. I don't care if I have like $100,000 in the bank. I still will go to the dollar store. It's very, very entertaining for me. I love getting things for cheap. That shit is gonna be taken away. It's gonna be more expensive for these companies or these small businesses to stay afloat or to keep these prices just as low. And that's not good for anybody. So that, this guy right here. All right, so yeah, we are really, really close, man. We're like literally, we made it past the halfway mark on Kickstarter. Guys, I'm really, really happy about that. Like, it's good. It's good. We got 9 more days. We can do this. If you haven't already, please donate. If you really like, you know, if you don't have the cash, that's fine, because I understand what that's like. Just share the videos, share like the little announcements, the little things I put up. on top of that, I just want to like also announce like there's a lot more videos coming out. I'm sorry that I haven't like been putting it out more often. I've been doing these little daily things just to kind of stay, you know, back in the news feed. But yeah, we have a lot of interviews from the Women's March. We have a lot of interviews from the Trump inauguration protests, and even then, there's a few more that were just like hanging back there or whatever that I'm still working on. Shout outs to Remy. Remy Levin like really helped me out, man. He's our new PA, and he's doing an amazing job in terms of editing, and it's helping out a lot because before it was just all me, and that totally sucks. And Sarah Colon is also jumping in, so shout outs to her. Shout outs to Alfred Austin, who's like our newest dude. I'm just gonna zoom in like that. Thank you. Thank you so much, dude. Al, you freaking rock, man. Jesus, thank you. You made a pretty good contribution. I'm very big ballin'. So I think that is it. I actually have to run. I gotta run to another meeting. I have like a whole bunch of other editing for like other clients, so I can keep these doors open and everything else. But guys, I love you so much. Thank you for your support. And please like and share the video. And if you believe in what I'm doing and everything else, and you want to see more of these docs coming out, which believe me, they will, please also look out for Lost Boys. That's our new web series. And that's coming out like a little bit later. If you guys actually link to the Kickstarter, or if you're on Patreon, we're gonna send you a few more previews for everyone else. So that's like a little sweetener deal. On top of that too, I do a lot of video editing. That's actually how I pay the bills. So if you guys know anyone that needs video editing, let me know, because I definitely want to use anything I make from there to throw towards the Notice blog. Again, that's another form of support. Just any way you can, let me know if you need video editing. I'll do the vlog videos and all that stuff. I love doing that stuff anyway. And that is it. I gotta run, y'all. Love you. Bye.